everyone, and welcome to Meet Denmark with Tenon Tours. I'm Linda McCormick, Product Manager for Northern Europe, and we're really pleased to expand our customized travel program to Denmark. This is the second presentation in our Nordic webinar series. If you've missed Finland last week, it was recorded and can be viewed on our website. We'll be presenting Norway and Sweden coming up on August 18th and 25th, so please mark your calendars and join us. Today we'll highlight the various features of Denmark and what they have to offer Tenon Tours guests. Just a few things though before we get started. I'd like to announce the winner of the drawing for the $500 off a trip to Finland, which you could enter from our Introducing Finland presentation last week. And the winner is Harold S. And congratulations, Harold, and thank you to everyone who has entered. So at the end of our presentation today, there'll be another opportunity to win, this time $500 off a trip to Denmark. So watch for the link. It'll be at the bottom of your screen. In addition, Visit Denmark has graciously contributed some prizes, which we'll give away to you some trivia questions. So be sure to pay attention during our presentation, and thank you, Visit Denmark, for the prizes. Finally, if you have any questions during our presentation today, just submit them in the comment box and we'll answer them at the end. Today, joining me is Nina Syrup from Visit Denmark. Thank you for being here, Nina.
Oh, hello. There you are. Hello, everybody.
Great to have you here. And you've got a Danish beach behind you.
Yep, I do. It's up from the northern part of Denmark called North Jutland, a very nice part of our country.
Great. It looks beautiful. And we actually have a map for reference to get our bearings with Denmark. I can show that here. Although Denmark is a small country, it's packed with vibrant cities, varied landscapes, outdoor and indoor activities, and adventure. So there are many islands and a lot of coastline, thus the beaches. How many islands are there?
There is 444 in total. Not all of them are inhabited, but that's the number of islands that's been counted.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot of islands and a lot of coastlines. So tell us a little bit about Denmark.
Yeah, so a bit about the landscape. If you have been to Denmark, you'll know that it's very flat. So the terrain is mainly flat. We do have a few hills, but that's sort of the most exciting we have. Because we have so many islands, you will also find a nice little archipelago just south of the island of Funen. And we also have a few UNESCO sites that are in nature spots in Denmark, and we will get back to that later as well. And for some of the basic facts, our capital city is Copenhagen, and it's on the island of Sealand, as you can see on the map here. Denmark is a very small country. We have around 5.8 million people now. Our official language is Danish, but English is widely spoken, so you can get help if you ask around. And our seasons and our weather is often a bit different compared to what some people might think. The weather is a bit milder than we are often being asked about. The seasons in Denmark are from January, February, and up until maybe like mid-March is the winter. And the temperatures, they change from year to year. It can be like -5 or like 23 Fahrenheit, or it can be like 0 degrees, 32 Fahrenheit, 6 degrees, 42 Fahrenheit. So, it depends on the year. And then we have from mid-March approximately to May, it's spring. And again, the temperatures, they vary a lot. It can be everything from maybe 7 degrees and 44 Fahrenheit, or maybe 15 degrees and 59 Fahrenheit. So again, depending. And then we have the summer, which is the most popular time to go. And that's June, July, and August. And also now stretching into like mid-September. And it can be nice and warm there. Everything from maybe 59 Fahrenheit to 86 Fahrenheit, depending. So like this year it's very hot. Other years it might not be as hot. And then we have another season that is also more popular, which is the winter from November to December with like Christmas markets and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Well, and then if it's warm and hot, they can utilize all the beaches.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of Danes love going there in the summer as well, just having a nice day at the beach or staying in a beach hut or beach hotel or something.
Right. And there are some unique or fun facts about Denmark, I'm sure you can share.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that are interesting from this year actually that just happened is that the Tour de France started in Denmark this year. So the Grand Depart took place with 3 stages in Denmark, and one was in Copenhagen, and then it went through the islands of Denmark, and then down to the southern part of Jutland, the mainland peninsula of Denmark. And as Linda has mentioned a few times now, we have a lot of beaches, and in Denmark, you are never more than 32 miles away from the ocean. And also, in fact, that sometimes is unknown is that we are the home of Lego. So Lego was invented in Denmark, and we'll get back to that a little later as well. And also the fact that the Sydney Opera House, which most people might have seen a picture of at least, was designed by a Danish architect called Jørgen Utzon. And also that Denmark is home to the world's best restaurant, which is now the Geranium restaurant in Copenhagen and not the Noma one any longer.
Well, and that's great because the Copenhagen restaurants have always been at the top of the list for the world's best restaurants. So that's something people will want to put on their list if they're planning to go, but you need reservations well in advance, right?
Yeah, you do. Like those restaurants aren't easy just to get into. So, but even it can be fun just to go and have a look and see where they are. Noma has a little urban garden and stuff, which is quite fun just to, browse around.
Oh, definitely. Well, and Denmark is a very family-friendly destination and great for visitors of all ages. There's so much to experience from art and architecture, Danish design, to Viking history, outdoor activities, and food, of course. And when working with Tenon Tours, your travel specialist that will work directly with you will craft a customized itinerary based on your specifications. So this would include any special interests you might have or activities and sightseeing you'd like to do, the length of your trip, and your budget. And if you need some suggestions or guidance, that's what we're here for. So we want to put up a map of the next part of Denmark here, and let's take a look at the regions, beginning with the Copenhagen region and Zealand. Here, where Copenhagen is located.
Oh yes, do you want me to say a few words now, Linda?
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so if you've been to Copenhagen before, you'll know that even though it's our capital city, it's still quite small. Around 1 million people with all the surrounding areas are living in Copenhagen. So yeah, it's a city that's easy to explore. It's still quite cosmopolitan. There are a lot of new developments happening all the time, but you also have a lot of history with the Amalienborg Castle in the city center and so on. And also, if you've been to Denmark, to Copenhagen before, you will know that there's a nice connection of canals in Copenhagen as well. As you can actually see on the background picture here as well. And here you can enjoy a boat tour, kayaking or paddleboarding. And because Copenhagen is quite small, it's easy to explore different neighborhoods. A few years back, a new metro opened in the city center of Copenhagen, so you can go from neighborhood to neighborhood in a few minutes. And one of the main attractions, if you do stay in the city center, is Tivoli Gardens, which is the second oldest amusement park in the world. It's only surpassed by another one that's just north of Copenhagen, actually. And I always think it's a nice story to tell that Walt Disney actually went to Tivoli Gardens before he built the Disney World in the US to find inspiration for how to design a happy amusement park. And Tivoli Gardens today both have like a hotel called Nim, and you will also find like a food market in there. You'll find a range of good restaurants. There is music in the summer. So there's a lot of things to do if you don't want to be like upside down in a roller coaster. You can still go and enjoy it. And now they also have 3 seasons, so you can have a look if you go to Copenhagen, seeing if you are in one of those seasons, go and have a look. Yeah, I just want to say that I do think it's quite nice to explore the different neighborhoods when you are there. Take the train, it takes a few minutes, and then, yeah, see something new in each neighborhood.
Well, and Tivoli is amazing with the flowers and the fountains, and a real highlight is the Christmas time. December, from late November into Christmas season, is spectacular with all the lights and the Christmas market atmosphere and all the vendors selling things. So it's a great time to visit as well.
It is. It's really nice, and they have like little like open fires as well. So if you get cold, you can stand around the fire with a mulled wine or something like that. It's very nice.
Well, we have a video about Copenhagen here, so we can have a look at that. Well, it looks like the water in the harbor area is clean and inviting for anyone to jump in. And the other thing is the biking. I mean, Danes bike commuting to school or work, and it happens regardless of the weather. So it's fabulous how nothing holds them back from their bikes. And it was very appropriate that the Tour de France started in Denmark. We have a special greeting from a friend of ours in Copenhagen, actually.
Hello, my name is Casper. I'm one of the founders here at Hey Captain. Rumor says that you guys from Tenon Tours, you're going to come to Copenhagen and open this destination. We very much look forward to having you here in our city, wonderful city of Copenhagen, and to showing you our social sailing tours here with Hey Captain. So big congrats. See you guys soon.
Well, that looks like fun. I'd love to go out on a boat.
It is really nice. Yeah, and their boats are so nice. They're like small, so you can have a nice chat with your friends or with people you meet there. It's it's very nice.
Excellent. We can work that into anyone's itinerary. So castles, we saw some on the video. They're a significant part of Denmark's history. They're so magnificent. I mean, just grand structures and different and stunning. Why are there so many in Denmark, and who lived there?
Yeah, so it's actually a really good question, because you're right, there are really a lot. And I was actually looking if I could find the final number of castles, but I couldn't find any statistics about that. But one of the reasons that we have so many is that Denmark is one of the oldest monarchies in the world. To my knowledge, it's only the Japanese royal family that is older than the Danish one. And also during the Second World War and the First World War, Denmark remained neutral. So a lot of the very old buildings are still standing. That's why you can still see so many of the old castles as well. And they've been homes of like the royal family, the aristocrats, rich landowners, so on over the years. Some of them might even go all the way to the Middle Ages, where you were like, protecting yourself. But today, like, the function of them varies. Some of them are still the home of the current Danish royal family. Some are museums, some are hotels, some are restaurants. So yeah, depending on which one, the function is a bit different.
Yeah. Well, and they've been so beautifully preserved, and to have visitors from abroad come and stay in a castle, that could be a dream. We actually have a short video with highlights of the Frederiksborg Castle, which is just outside of Copenhagen. Those gardens are amazing. And so many of the castles will have the gardens and fountains and beautiful grounds. So we do have a special greeting from the Amalienborg Castle, which is just located in central Copenhagen and home of the royal family. They sent us some greetings.
Hi, I'm Pernille Kjær Nielsen from the Royal Danish Collection. Welcome to Copenhagen and to Amalienborg. We can't wait to welcome guests from Tenon Tours here at the Amalienborg Museum. Right now you can experience our special exhibition with the Queen's private jewelry, iconic pearls and historic jewels, unique pieces with a history, and also the beautiful orders that Queen Margrethe has received during her 50 years at the throne. Welcome.
Wow, that would be amazing to see. Really fun. And they would have, I'm sure, rotating exhibitions at a lot of the locations. So that would be something not to miss. And then not too far from Copenhagen, just 30 minutes away, is the town of Roskilde, which there are two significant sites visitors shouldn't miss: the Viking Ship Museum, and then the UNESCO World Heritage site, the Roskilde Cathedral. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would be happy to. Yeah, so you're right, it's quite a historic town to visit, and you can do it as a day trip if you would like to. And if we start with the cathedral, it was built all the way back between the 12th and the 13th century, and it's actually Scandinavia's first Gothic cathedral to be built of brick. So architecturally, it also has an important place in history. And since the 15th century, it's also been the cathedral where the Danish monarchs have been buried. So you can go there and find the resting place of the former kings and queens of Denmark. And the cathedral has been UNESCO since 1995. And it's both because of the construction of the cathedral, and also because of, of course, of the historical importance in Denmark as well. And then the second place that Linda mentioned is the Viking Ship Museum. And it's one of the most popular things to do as well as a tourist in Denmark. They have the museum is built around 5 original ships that they found, and based on those findings and on research, they've reconstructed Viking ships. It's right by the harbor, so you can actually go sailing in a reconstructed Viking ship. And in the museum, you can learn how, you know, the ships were built. You can even see some people working, like volunteers working with like shipbuilding from the Viking ages as well. So it's quite an active museum, and you can see findings, but also, yeah, like reconstructed ships. So.
Well, and the Vikings have become so popular with all the programs on the history and documentaries and things. So people can really get their hands on and see the authentic Viking history there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fabulous. And there's another UNESCO site in the southern part of Denmark as well.
Yes, you mean, yeah, the one Stevens Klint?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's quite a unique place in Denmark as well. It's on the southern part of or the southern placement of Copenhagen. And as you see here, it's these beautiful, like, white chalky cliffs. And of course, besides being very beautiful, the reason that it's UNESCO is actually that those layers in the chalk is one of the best places in the world to see what happened during the meteor that hit the earth and basically killed the dinosaurs. So this is like a leftover where they can go and do research in the different layers of the chalk. So it has an important part in the place in the world because of that. And it's just over an hour's drive from Copenhagen. But because, like, maybe like if you and I go, we can't really like analyze all the chalk.
No.
Then it's just like the beautiful, like the beauty of the nature itself is worth a visit. And there are like different little towns you can also visit along the coastline, so you can combine these cliffs with like visiting like seaside towns, seeing, you know, how summer life is in Denmark, enjoy that. Some people also enjoy being in the water, paddleboarding, and so on. So different ways of experiencing it.
Well, and it's such a contrast that the white chalk with the water and the surrounding greenery. So that
it is very unique. And there's also a Cold War museum down there as well, because the placement of the cliffs have been very strategic as well historically. So that's also something that, yeah, is interesting to look at.
Okay. Well, that's something to put on the list as well. So I'm just going to have Nina stand by for a few minutes here while we introduce our next guest. We're fortunate to work with some very passionate people for our amazing programs in Denmark. And I'd like to introduce our partner and colleague, Marcella Infantino. She's CEO of Via Hansa Borealis, and their main office is in Copenhagen. Welcome, Marcella.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Linda. Very nice to be here again. And I would like again to congratulate Tenon Tours and Linda and the team for the amazing work that you're doing for our destinations. I'm sure it's going to be a success. Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here today, very honored to share a little bit of Denmark and Copenhagen. I have been in the industry receiving amazing guests to our destinations throughout more than 30 years, and have the pleasure now to support the activities of Tenon Tours in Scandinavia and Denmark as well. Denmark is, as you probably have learned now, a very small country, but very, very interesting with a lot of things to offer.
Oh, and that's fabulous. And all of the itineraries and options available to our guests, we would evaluate and what people would like to do. And this could be any summer and winter activities, home visits, bike tours, walking tours, right?
Exactly. The great thing about Denmark is that we have 4 seasons, as Nina was sharing with you, and this gives very different possibilities. So there is something for every taste. I am personally very, very happy for the autumn time, when once the summer is over and we all get back from our holidays, and is where we really start looking forward to what the Danes call Hygge. But we will revert to that. It is a very human country because it is very small. It gives the possibility to explore hidden gems very, very easily. The transportation system, the public transportation system in Denmark, it's outstanding. It is easy for everyone to find a route in the city or in the country, and there is infinite options to enjoy the country. If you choose only to travel to Copenhagen and be there for 2-3 days, you can enjoy the city by doing some tours by boat through the channels. You can do bikes, you can use the metro, or you can walk. The city center is very, very small. It's very compact, and it gives the possibility to cross, let's say, what is the center of the city. You can cross it from one point to the other in approximately 30 minutes. Beautiful walks. Very old buildings. The longest pedestrian street in Northern Europe. It is approximately 2 kilometers, 1.8, when you start at the City Hall Square and ending at the King's Square Garden in front of the opera. But it takes only, if you walk without looking to the left and to the right, it will take you approximately 20 minutes to cross. But there is so many things to see when you go outside the main street and you immerse yourself in the little streets that are very, very narrow, because there will be parts of the city that goes buildings that date back to the 16th century. So it is indeed a wonderland. Lego was created here, and sometimes you could think that Copenhagen could look like a Lego creation. The buildings are very, very old, but very, very well kept, very colorful, combine this very old style and very old architecture combined with the amazing modern Danish design. So it is a destination of contrast. It is a destination where different cultures will meet each other. Today, Copenhagen is a multicultural city with a lot of influence from Europe and other parts of the world. So it has become like a cocktail of the world in a way. If we look at Copenhagen today in relation to how it was 20 years ago, it is impossible to recognize the development the city has had during the past 10 years. It's incredible. And in the good old days, for 20 years ago, we would say, yeah, you can stay 2 days in Copenhagen and you have seen everything. Today, the city is so vibrant that I will say that easily you can spend a week in Copenhagen if you really want to immerse yourself. And that doesn't have to cost a fortune, because the city really gives the infrastructure of the Danish society, gives you the possibility to explore the city like a Dane, and it's actually it will be very, very a very economic holiday. And the reason why I am talking about this is that the infrastructure of the society of the country is so well constructed that even though you are not a traveler that has been traveling a lot, it will be possible to find around to explore the city by your own hand, like if it was an adventure. And we are here to support Tenon Tours and give you the advices and book whatever request you might have, but it is a city that also gives the opportunity to really come back home saying, wow, I lived like a Dane during 1 week.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And the Danes are fabulous. Just the heartfelt lifestyle they have. And you mentioned Hygge, which has to do with Danish lifestyle. And many viewers may have heard that word before, Hygge. And how would you describe Hygge?
is a state of mind. I am not Danish. I was born in Montevideo. I'm Italian, and I came to Denmark when I was 11 years old. And I would probably say that I have been living here 42 years, and if I had to leave Denmark, there will be two things that I will miss tremendously, because it is not possible to create this in another place. And that will be the Danish pastries and Hygge. And Hygge is, I will say, as a foreigner living in this country, I have understood to learn the meaning of it. And I will say that it is a state of mind. It is something that we Danes, we will say, we are going to Hygge now. And then you make the decision that you are going to Hygge, and it doesn't require a financial investment, but it requires the agreement that now this is what we're going to do. And then we decide that we're going to do the Hygge, and that can be anything. It can be a cup of coffee in the kitchen, sitting in the kitchen at home with a friend. And how that is that Hygge, because then we will lit a candle and we will find 2 pieces of chocolate, and we are doing the Hygge. But it can also be being under the blanket in your sofa together with your best friend or with your husband, and now you agree that you are going to Hygge. You bake a cake, and we go to the garden, we invite the neighbor, let's do Hygge. So Hygge is a state of mind that can be practiced by anyone. You just have to understand that there is a decision that we take, and we decide that now we are going to, it's like you pamper your soul, and you are very aware of it, and you make the decision. You sit under the tree with your book in a blanket and maybe an apple, and you say to yourself, now I'm doing Hygge.
Well, and I think we could all use some Hygge in our lives here. We have some other locals actually who can explain what Hygge means to them, so we can take a look at that.
Yeah.
Hi, I just arrived here in Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark. And ever since I got here, people are talking about this Hygge. It's pronounced Hygge, and if you look it up in the dictionary, it says something like good social atmosphere, coziness, and I'm gonna try to find out what it actually is. To get as much Hygge as I possibly can in just one day, I'm gonna do what the Copenhageners do, and I'm gonna get me a bike. So is this a cafe or a bike rental?
It's both a cafe, bike rental and a bike shop.
But can a bike be Hygge?
It certainly can.
Can you show me? What's the most Hygge bike here?
Definitely this one. You can throw your friend in the front, take your children to and from school, and got a good ring to it.
What would you rate this bike in Hygge from 1 to 10?
10, definitely.
Okay. So what kind of place is this?
Well, it's a porridge place, only serving porridge from early morning to late evening.
Is that Hygge?
That's kind of the definition of Hygge, if you ask me.
So what's Hygge about porridge?
Well, it's kind of taking a bite of your childhood. So it's really kind of the most cozy dish you can eat. That's gold.
So I'm gonna get me some porridge.
Definitely.
Is this Hygge on a scale from 1 to 10?
8.
8?
In itself, it's a very little room. It's quite cozy.
Can you show me the most Hygge thing in here?
This is Danish Hygge, yeah.
Is this a cafe or a laundromat?
It's a cafe and a laundromat.
How much Hygge do you think this place is?
How much what?
Hygge.
It's a top Hygge.
Top Hygge. So from 1 to 10, it's a 10.
It's a 10, yes.
So you can both Hygge and work?
You can, definitely.
Do you wash your clothes here sometime?
Yes, sometimes I do.
You do? And you take a coffee while waiting?
Yes, and a brunch in the weekend.
So how many beers do I have to drink to get Hygge here?
Between 1 and 10,
And which beer is the most Hygge?
I would go for number 9. It's a beer that's really dark and it's made with coffee beans that's gone through a weasel in Vietnam.
I'm gonna go for that. This is about 10 out of 10 Hygge, I would say. So I'm starting to get a feeling about what the Danish Hygge is really all about. It's about the atmosphere, the people, having a good time and relaxing. And from my experience today, you can find Hygge pretty much everywhere in Copenhagen.
That is really inspirational. I think this would be a perfect time for a couple of trivia questions for those prizes courtesy of Visit Denmark. So just type your answers in the comment box. The first person with the correct answer will win, and we'll announce it during the presentation. So Marcella, would you like to do the honors?
I will love that. We would like to know what is the name of the island in which Copenhagen is located.
Okay, that's number 1, the island where Copenhagen is located. And the second trivia question?
And the second trivial question will be, what is the name of the cathedral where the Danish royalty is buried?
Okay, well, good luck to everyone. And I hope you were paying attention. So when considering hygge and the Danish lifestyle, food plays an important part. We saw that on the video. Preparing the food, getting together with friends and family at home, restaurant, cafe. There's great seafood availability. Summer outdoor dining, traditional foods, beer and akavit. That's a recipe for hygge, right?
Exactly. That is the best recipe for hygge.
And there's an extensive gastronomic scene in Denmark.
It is. The gastronomic scene in Denmark, it's impressive. It is never ending and it is very diverse. The diversity is probably the most striking when you look at the gastronomic scene. If we look at the Nordic cuisine, that has really won a very important place internationally. You have like restaurants like Noma that has been the best restaurant in the world for many, many years. Now it is Geranium. And when you think the possibilities, when we look at the ingredients that the Danish climate can produce, it is incredible that Denmark has developed in such a short time to become one of the world leaders within the gastronomic scene. There is a taste for everyone. The diversity within the fine dining, it's never ending. I think that if you plan a gastronomic, if a traveler would like to experience the gastronomic scene in Denmark, you will need to take at least 10 days because the gastronomic scene is not only amazing in Copenhagen, but indeed around the country. One of the possibilities possibilities, one of the products that we have created together with Tenon Tours is the possibility to combine the hygge with the gastronomic scene, but at a much more local possibility. So what we do is that we give the traveler the possibility to really experience the Danish hygge and the Danish local and traditional cooking at a Danish home. So this will be a home visit that we arrange, but in a very, very local way. The guide will pick you up at the hotel and will transport you to the home of the selected family by local transportation. You might go to pick up the children in the school or at the kindergarten. You will do the grocery shopping together with the family to prepare a meal. And there you will see where the Danish family will put on the table. You will do the hygge, and then you will return home. So it is indeed something that the eating, the food, the gastronomy is a very, very big part of the hygge. Today, the younger generations have also developed aggressively within the gastronomy. When you look at a young person today, 20, 25 years old, when we look at what they are eating, the diversity and the knowledge that they have in relation to gastronomy is impressive.
Yeah, and that immersive experience is really special. You just can't get that everywhere, and we appreciate that so much. And it isn't just the top restaurants. There's all kinds of different types of eating and trying different things. So this is the street food area, right, in Copenhagen?
Yes, this is also what makes the gastronomic scene in Copenhagen so interesting, is the diversity. And the pictures that we are seeing here, this is from a place called Reffen that is located close to the Opera House in front in one of the islands in Copenhagen. It takes approximately 15-20 minutes ride from the city center, and it is an area where for 10 years ago there was absolutely nothing, and there you find like the kitchens of the world. It is an amazing place. It is very, very frequented by the locals, and now is taking more and more place in the international gastronomic scene, because when you go to Reffen, you have the possibility to experience whatever dish from whatever country. Almost the whole world is represented there.
Oh, that's exciting. And, you know, we're used to food trucks in our country, so that's a nice little spin on food trucks too. And there's a part of the Danish gastronomic scene that we need to mention, and that is the Danes' love of their hot dogs. We have a little bit of a history for that, and we can take a look at that now.
100 years ago, on January the 18th, 1921, a culinary revolution took place on the streets of Copenhagen. Charles Svensson Stevns was finally granted permission to sell hot dogs. Even though the authorities of the time found the thought of people eating sausages on the street unseemly. Fast forward to today, and the hot dog van is now a fixture in central squares and street corners all over Denmark. 130 vans distribute 100 million sausages per year to the sausage-savoring Danes. Let's celebrate a century of our street food superstars. There it is, on its way to bring hot dogs and good spirits to people of all walks of life. Since 2004, Jeanette has served hot dogs to everyone from bin men to politicians. Jeanette knows all the classic combinations in the hot dog game. First of all, there's the classic Danish hot dog, a ristet hot dog, a perfectly balanced sausage symphony. Another popular choice is a Fransk hot dog, or French hot dog, easily operated with only one hand. The more bold choice would be a krasser. We're talking only bun and toppings here. Regardless of your choice of hot dog, you'll need to wash it down with a bottle of chocolate milk. Bottoms up. This isn't the only way to experience Denmark's beloved hot dog culture. Den økologiske pølsemand has set out to modernize the whole concept. These guys use 100% organic ingredients, assembled and served in biodegradable packaging. They also offer a wide and carefully selected variety of sausages, from pork to goat to an entirely vegan alternative. So, as you can see, there's a hot dog for everyone. Come join us at one of Denmark's hot dog vans.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Marcella. Please come back during our Q&A a little later, okay?
Thank you so much for having me, Linda.
See you soon. And we're going to bring Nina back from Visit Denmark, and we'll take a tour continuing to the island of Funen, or Fyn, F-Y-N, to the west of Zealand and Copenhagen. I've seen two spellings for this island. What's the difference?
Yeah, so Fyn is the Danish spelling and Funen is the Anglified version of it. So I think it's because it's a bit easier to like say Funen in English than Fyn.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good, thank you for that, because I've seen both of them. What's unique about this island, Fyn?
Yeah, so it's actually it's sometimes in Denmark called Denmark's Garden Island. And that actually relates to the talk we had before about castles. There are 123 castles and manor houses on Funen, and many of these have beautiful gardens, as we already talked about. So this really sort of shapes the landscape of Funen. And the main city on the island of Funen is Odense. And this is also the birthplace of the fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote The Ugly Duckling, the little girl with the matchsticks. So many of the fairy tales that actually later on has been adapted by Disney are his stories. And today you can visit both his birthplace in Odense, but you can also visit the fairly new Hans Christian Andersen Museum, which opened in 2021. They're in walking distance from each other. And the new museum is more about seeing the world through his fairy tales, so very magical. Also has an enchanted garden and everything. And then another thing that is really unique about Funen is also the archipelago, which is on the southern, like just south of Funen. There are so many beautiful little islands dotted all around south of Funen. And on the southern part of Funen itself, you'll also find very nice seaside towns like Svendborg and Faaborg. And these places are just amazing, especially in summer. You'll find that life is really buzzing in the harbor area, and they have really good restaurants. You can go sailing from there. And you see many like Danish people sailing around in the summer, docking in the harbor and just, enjoying the atmosphere. And a fun fact about Funen is actually that not so long ago, National Geographic, they named one of the villages on Funen, Kerteminde, as one of Europe's best kept villages, like a best kept secret for villages.
Now I suppose everybody went there, right? Not a secret anymore. Well, in talking about Hans Christian Andersen, one of his famous stories is The Little Mermaid, and we didn't mention that The Little Mermaid is in the harbor. Her statue is in the harbor of Copenhagen, and a popular site too. So we want to be sure that people have that on their list of things to do. And then we mentioned the Viking Museum in Roskilde, and there are a lot of Viking locations in history on Funen, right?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you can experience different things, and I know that you've also been looking into the Odin, like Odense. It's very hard to pronounce, Viking village, but that's where you can, go and see, how Viking life would have taken place, be very engaged in the Viking experiences. And this is actually something you can do throughout Denmark. You'll find Viking moods and Viking villages, Viking harbors that are all really coming to life. Some even like making Viking battles, so you can see how it might have taken place.
Well, we have a quick video of Odense Viking village here. that looks really fun.
It
So,
is really fun, yeah. Even for like grown-ups as well, like going and seeing, you know, all the arts and crafts, even tasting some like Viking meat, like the drink they would have. So
right, yeah, out of the wooden cups, that would be fun. Well, we have a couple winners from our trivia questions. Winner number 1 is Yvonne. Thank you for your correct answer. And then the second trivia question winner is Carol. So thank you very much for contributing and guessing right and paying attention. So we have some more coming up. Yeah. So from Funen, we'll go west to Jutland, which is the largest island compared to the other regions of Denmark and has a really variety of landscape there. And this part has what to offer? What's on Jutland?
Yeah, so Jutland is sort of the main peninsula of Denmark, and it's like quite varied if you go from south to north in terms of what you can see. In the southern part, if you go west, you have the Wadden Sea area, and here you can see migrating starlings in the autumn, and you can go on oyster safaris and pick up fresh oysters. Actually, there's an invasive oyster species that we need to, you know, get down a bit. So you're actually helping the Danish environment by eating oysters. And then like in mid-Jutland, and I think we'll get back to that a little later as well, we have the lakelands, the Danish lakelands. So a beautiful area to go canoeing, hiking, fishing. And then up in North Jutland, you have a lot of beaches. As you can see, it narrows, so you're very close to the beach on each side. And on the very top of Denmark, you can actually stand with one foot in like 2 seas at the same time as they collide. And as you can see, there's like a fjord. It's not like the Norwegian fjords, but the one on the top is a fjord that goes all the way across the northern part of Denmark as well. And if you are interested, you can even go surfing in the northern part of Denmark as well. You'll also find forest land, so it's quite varied in Jutland because, as you see, it is the main part of Denmark.
Yes, and the whole west coast looks like it would be awesome beaches and beautiful coastline. And so maybe bird watching would be good here. Is that something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's also worth mentioning because of all the long seaside we have, you can also find a lot of like quite nice seaside hotels that would have their own access to the beaches and focus on wellness and seafood. So those are also quite interesting to check out.
Okay. And isn't Legoland in this area as well? So we can.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of south, like the southern part of the mid-Jutland. It's called Billund, and this is where Lego was founded, where the first Lego brick was invented. And this means you can go to the original Legoland, as you can see a few pictures of here. And also right next to Legoland, there's the Lego house, where you can learn a bit more about the history of Lego. And they use technology to make Lego come alive. They've virtually mapped all Lego boxes ever made. So a lot of grown-ups find it quite fun to, find the Lego boxes that they grew up with. And kids can like play like with all red Lego bricks or all white Lego bricks and build whatever comes to mind. So it's quite a good family destination.
I think everyone has had Legos in their life. What a great experience for all generations to have together.
Yeah, and I can actually just mention in the tail of that Lego, it's a short for leg godt, which means play well. So I think that describes Lego quite well.
Yes, well, we didn't know that. That's awesome. And we have more Viking heritage, Viking history in this part. There are some rune stones nearby.
Yes. Yeah, the Jelling rune stones. It's also known as the birth certificate of Denmark. It's the first time where you see the word Denmark written out on the stone. It's made from by the Viking king, like King Harald Bluetooth. He engraved Denmark on these stones, and it also showcases Denmark's transition into Christianity. And in this way, when you go and see the runestones, because of course as us, like it's beautiful, but it's hard to really understand what it all means. And they have a visitor center as well, where they've used technology to make the story come alive. So that will explain a bit more about the stones and like the area as well, because there are a few mounds around as well, and there's a church there as well. And this also enjoys UNESCO protection because it's one of Europe's absolute most important Viking sites.
That's really fascinating that they've carved the messages in that and that survived these centuries. Very fascinating. We actually have some greetings from our friends in Jutland, in fact, from the Yelling Runestone Museum.
Hi, I'm Nina from the heart of Jutland in Denmark. I'm standing here in front of the Yelling Stones, which is one of our 2 UNESCO sites in our area. Here, Harald Blåtand, the Danish Viking king, wrote that he is the king of all the land. We call it Denmark's birth certificate. We are very excited to welcome you here in the heart of Jutland with Tenon Tours. Hope to see you soon, guys. Bye.
Hi, I'm Alexander from the frigate Jylland, and we're looking forward to welcome Tenon Tours guests to our beautiful ship. Welcome to the frigate Jylland.
Well, that's some seafaring heritage there. Awesome.
It is, yeah, and it's just for the listeners, it's quite close to the second city, Aarhus, and it's one of the largest wooden warships used as a museum in Europe. So it's quite a nice place to go and visit as well.
Well, it looks fun for kids and probably kids of all ages, for
It
sure.
is, yeah.
Well, let's take time for another trivia question to win a special gift from Visit Denmark. Again, type your answers in the comment box, and the first person with the correct answer will win, and we'll announce it a little later. So, Nina, would you like to do the question?
Yes, I will. Sorry, we jumped a bit in the schedule here, so I'm trying to find the right one. I believe one of the ones I'm asking is how many people are living in Denmark?
How many people are living in Denmark? What's the population? Good luck, everyone. Yes. So, as we're talking about Jutland and talked about the north and how there's quite a difference in the landscapes. In the far north and west, you'll find sand dunes and beaches, national parks, quaint towns and bustling cities. And this is an interesting part of Denmark. And that's where you're from, right?
It is, yeah. I'm from the town called Aalborg, which is actually right in the fjord in the middle of the region. And this is also, as I mentioned in the beginning, the birthplace of Jørn Utzon, who went on to design the Sydney Opera House. So along the harbor, it's hard to see in the map, but there's a quite nice harbor because the water goes straight through Aalborg. And you can go and see quite a beautiful visitor exhibition space that he also designed. It was his last project. So that's quite interesting to go and have a look at. And then the whole region is dotted as well with very nice seaside towns. And on the western part of the region, there are quite beautiful natural areas as well. You'll find national parks. You'll find the surfing spot called Hawaii. You will find one of the largest migrating sand dunes in Europe as well. And you can see how powerful the environment is by seeing there's a church that used to be the largest one in the region, but now it's almost covered in sand. So it sort of shows a bit about how dramatic the nature is up here. And one of the lighthouses up there had to be moved inwards on a big roller skate because it was falling in the sea. So a lot of things going on up there that is quite interesting.
Yeah, and this shifting sand with the wind and just how interesting that is too. So we do have some greetings from North Denmark, from our partners up in that area.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Destination North, and we're all very much looking forward to welcoming all the guests from Tenon Tours to our beautiful part of the country, the north of Denmark.
Hi, I'm Karina from the Destination Northwest Coast. We are looking forward to welcoming guests from Tenon Tours here in our destination. We have this incredible nature with the wide beaches, and we just hope to see you soon.
Great. Well, and they're a big help to us too with providing lots of good information and giving us information and how people can enjoy that part of Denmark. So Denmark is way more than just Copenhagen. And so we'll be happy to incorporate any of these destinations into an itinerary for our guests. So, for the last trivia question, we have a winner. Pat has given the correct answer for the population, 5.8 million. Congratulations, Pat. Thank you. Yeah. And there's one more little, not little, but one more very important destination within Denmark. It's called Bornholm. And so let's head south off the southeast coast, south of Copenhagen in the Baltic Sea, to the island of Bornholm. And tell us about Bornholm.
Yeah, so it's a very unique place in Denmark. And the fun thing about Bornholm is it's actually closer to mainland Sweden than it is to mainland Denmark. You can fly there from Copenhagen in around 40 minutes or take a ferry from the southern part of Sweden, Ystad, to Bornholm, or take an overnight ferry as well, just north of Copenhagen to Bornholm. And because of the location, it's the only place in Denmark where you have cliffs. So the nature is a bit more dramatic on Bornholm than it is on the rest of Denmark. And it's a wonderful place to do cycling holidays because you can basically cycle around the whole island. Danes love going there on a cycling holiday as well. And along the coast, you will find beautiful little towns, beautiful seaside hotels with direct access to the beach, serving really good new Nordic food. And over the years, actually, because the climate on Bornholm is a bit different than the rest of Denmark, we call it the Sunshine Island. And also a lot of restaurants in Copenhagen are sourcing their food on Bornholm. And Bornholm also has like really good food festivals, food competitions, where you can also meet the local farmers, the local shops, and so on as well. So it's just quite a nice place to go, specifically for the summer, as the sun will set really late and like rise really early. And if you are into licorice, which I know can be a far fetch for non-Danes, but if you are, and if you've tried the one of the brands that covers the licorice and chocolate, they're called Bylov. They're also from Bornholm, so it shows you a bit about the culinary heritage of the island. And it's also full of they have or used to be like called the Chimney Island as well, because it had so many smokehouses for smoking herring. And now there are still a few smokehouses left, so you can try very nice smoked herring as well.
Well, it sounds like that's a little off the beaten path. So some of the Tenon guests who are interested in exploring things that are off the beaten path might be interested in that. So, and Denmark, let's talk about sustainability, because, talking about sourcing food from their own surroundings, Denmark's a leader in sustainability because it's part of their lifestyle. I mean, we see wind turbines all over Denmark and the bicycle riding being part of Danish culture for decades. So the Danes live sustainably, naturally, right?
Yeah, it's a big part of our culture, and it's something that sometimes it's hard to sometimes speak about as a travel experience because it's more of a lifestyle thing. But the picture you have here is a good example of an experience about Danish sustainability. It's the Copenhagen Hill, and it's actually a waste power plant where the waste are burned from the Copenhagen area. But instead of making into like a non-area, it's transformed into an area for people. So it's a ski slope, so you can go skiing in flat Denmark, which is quite exciting. It's also a hiking trail, and there's also on the very top an after ski bar, so you can also go and just enjoy the view of Copenhagen. And the kayaks you see are green kayak, and that's in the canals. You can go sailing in the green kayaks, and then the bucket you see is because if you pick up like trash along the way, you can rent the kayak for free. And then of course there are the bikes, because it's part of our lifestyle. You'll see like kids almost biking before they start running. So it is really a part of our culture. And like you saw the cargo bike in the Hygge video, you see families moving in cargo bikes, and the kids are transported in the cargo bikes. So in that way, it is really part of the lifestyle. And if you are feeling brave enough to do it, then I would always recommend joining a guided bike tour, because it's just quite a fun way to experience Copenhagen and Denmark as well.
Definitely. Why not? That Copenhill is quite innovative and really a fun design. So that would be fun to check out. And also the kayaking, and help pick up any trash that would be in the fjord or in the harbor. So let's just quickly touch on architecture. We talked a little bit about the mix, or Marcella talked about the mix of the historic and the more modern architecture. And we have some pictures of some significant new works here.
Yeah, so up on the stripy house you see is the Harbor Bath in Odense, which was the main town we talked about on the island of Funen. And it's a good example of quite contemporary architecture in Denmark, and also of contemporary living in Denmark, because most of the cities where you have a canal or a harbor or access to any sort of body of water, there'll be a harbor bath for people to enjoy. So this is quite a nice example from that. And this one opened back in 2016. And it resembles like a ship with a deck and a cabin. And then on the right-hand side, you have the bridge that connects Denmark with Sweden. It's both for railway and for cars as well. And it's the longest type of this bridge in Europe. It runs 8 kilometers across, and it was finished in 1999. And if you are a fan of like New Nordic noir, then you would have seen that this is where the main murder of the show took place, in the middle between Denmark and Sweden.
Right.
Yeah. And then we have on the lower left-hand corner the Moesgaard Museum, which is just outside of Aarhus, our second city. And this was built, I believe, in 2014, and it was designed by the Henning Larsen architects. And as you can see on the picture, you can walk all the way up on the roof, so it's part of the surrounding landscape. And it's a museum for basically the history of mankind, so all the way back to like Stone Ages, and then through the Middle Ages and Viking Ages and so on. So you follow sort of a trail through human history. And then the last picture is the Forest Tower, and it's just south of Copenhagen, in an area called, or like in a place called Camp Adventure. It's 45 meters high, and it's like you just walk up and up and up and up and up, like in a spiral, and then you can see the changing landscape of the surrounding forest. You can also, it's the Camp Adventure where it is. You can also go glamping and have a nice time in nature.
Oh, that's great. Well, fun. And they all really work well with nature as well. I mean, the Moesgaard Museum, to walk up on top would be really neat to see the surroundings. So we have one final trivia question. So again, we'll type the questions in the comment box, or the answers in the comment box if you could. So Nina, do you have that question for us?
I do, yeah. And that question is, what is the name of the island that is actually closer to mainland Sweden?
Okay. Well, good luck with that. So we've talked about so many different things. We are probably getting some questions here, but why should Tenon Tours guests choose to visit Denmark?
I think it's like this webinar actually quite sums it up quite nicely. It's to experience both the Danish culture and the Danish lifestyle, it's if you want to get this mix of, history like the Vikings and the royal family, but also contemporary lifestyle and architecture, as you saw now, to understand what like all of this is about, and also to explore the Danish cuisine, the new Nordic dining, and if you were interested in a very family-friendly holiday, then yeah, definitely, I think that's some of the main reasons to go. And then I think specifically traveling from America, if you want somewhere with short travel distances, where America is so big, so if you want to enjoy a pocket-sized destination, I think it's a good place to go.
Oh, I agree with that. So I'd like to welcome Marcella back. If we have any questions to answer from our viewers, welcome back, Marcella.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have a question. Does Tenon have any last-minute short tours in Denmark? We are going there in early October and could add it to our itinerary. Well, yeah, I think we could put something together. Absolutely. It depends how many days you have, but Marcella, do you want to talk about maybe some highlights that could include?
Indeed, not knowing how many days you have, we will, of course, we can do everything between 1 and 10 days, but depending on the days, the amount of days that you have, we will try to enhance your stay as much as possible. But indeed, October is a beautiful, a very, very nice time of the year. And if you have time enough, we will take you to the forest and do some hygge with a picnic in the Dyrehaven, which is a beautiful park, 20 kilometers, 10 kilometers north of Copenhagen.
Great. Well, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Okay. In Copenhagen, are there any museums or anything about famous Danish physics geniuses? Okay, I can't answer that one.
Yeah, I think there is actually a museum connected to this, but give us an opportunity. This is a very specific question. We have not started for that, but we will find out and get back to you.
Great. Okay. All right. And so we don't have a winner on this last trivia question yet. But in the meantime, we can let you know that we have a grand prize winner, or a grand prize, which you can enter to win. We have a link, and that prize would be $500 off a trip to Denmark with Tenon Tours. And so be sure to register at the link displayed on your screen. And then we'll announce the winner during our next live launch, which is going to be Norway on August 18th. I see we have another question. How do the Danes pronounce Rasmussen? There you go.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll just say it in Danish. It's Rasmussen.
Okay.
So it's a sound in the back of the
throat. Rasmussen. And Danish has the 3 additional vowels as well.
Yeah, exactly. E, Ö, and O.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll just get that link up on the screen where you can register for the grand prize. And there you go. So go ahead and register. That'll be open for registration throughout the week, so and into next week. So if you can't do it now, you can do it later. I really want to thank Nina and Marcella for being here with us. Thank you so much. You've added so much to our presentation, and we look forward to sending lots of Tenon Tours guests to you in Denmark.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for all your work. And thank you, Marcella, for all your work as well.
Thank you both. And thank you very much, Linda, to you and the team for having us.
Oh, our
and
pleasure.
Welcome to wonderful Copenhagen.
Absolutely. And everyone for joining us, thank you so much. And we hope to see you in Denmark.
Indeed.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.